In the shadowy alleys of the ancient town of Ventania, whispers of an eerily foreboding prophecy crept through the air like a thick fog. The townspeople could hardly breathe, each heart thumping against their ribcage in anticipation of an impending change that felt as though it were creeping closer with every passing moment. This chilling narrative began in a secluded corner of the town, where three unsuspecting children, nestled in the warmth of sunlight, became the focal point of an extraordinary revelation. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting long shadows that danced across cobblestone streets, young Amelia, a spirited girl with bright auburn curls, accompanied by her cousins Matteo and Isabella, found themselves entangled in a series of mysterious events. During one fateful afternoon, an ethereal figure materialized before them, cloaked in a flowing gown that shimmered like the starlit sky. She introduced herself as Serafina, a guardian of hidden truths and a bearer of a message long kept secret. The urgency behind Serafina's appearance loomed over them like a storm cloud. She implored the children to return to the same spot each month, promising to unveil the mysteries of the universe itself. The promise hung heavy in the air, laden with the weight of history and untold destinies, as she hinted at a grave disturbance soon to engulf their town, one that could set forth waves of terror across the world. As the children gathered under the full moon's luminescent gaze on the fateful night, Serafina delivered a haunting warning. Changes swept through the land, the darkness threatened to consume the innocent, and the echoes of conflict from ages past were trickling back into their reality. She spoke of a great calamity on the horizon, a battle that would not only challenge their spirit, but could potentially alter the very fabric of their existence. A glow surrounded her, illuminating the anxious expressions on the children's faces. With each encounter, Serafina unfolded chilling prophecies that intertwined elements of fire and brimstone with the inherent goodness of the human spirit. She spoke ominously of a powerful force rising, one that sought dominion over the hearts and minds of people, leading them astray into a realm of chaos and despair. The children listened in rapt attention, their imaginations ignited by her every word, transporting them beyond the confines of their sheltered lives. Amelia, with sparkles of determination in her emerald eyes, vowed to spread the message beyond their heart of Ventania, ready to confront the shadows that loomed. Matteo, with a skeptical brow and a flair for mystery, was intrigued yet cautious. Isabella, the youngest with a fragile heart, felt an unshakable sense of connection to the ethereal figure despite her fears. Each child encapsulated a unique facet of hope, curiosity, and bravery, shaping the narrative that would unfold. As the town's inhabitants began to notice the change in the children's demeanor, a sense of foreboding gripped the heart of Ventania. Countless townsfolk gathered in the town square, their anxious whispers curling into the humid night air. What do these children speak of? They wondered. Are they merely jesting or dabbling in tales spun beyond reason? Yet their apprehensions spiraled into confrontation as the mayor called for an urgent meeting. At the solemn assembly, Amelia stood at the forefront, her voice trembling yet steady. "We must take heed of the warnings bestowed upon us," she urged, recounting the tales of serafines, shadows, and storms looming above. The townspeople exchanged glances, hovering between disbelief and the gnawing sensation that perhaps their world was at the precipice of change. Days turned into weeks as rumors mingled with reality. Strange occurrences marred the town. Well-traveled roads grew silent, the winds carried cryptic messages, and whispers of long-lost conflicts arose from the depths of history. Serafina's prophecies replayed in the children's minds as they forged ahead, determined to create awareness. But as anticipation mounted, fear began to take root within the hearts of the townsmen. On a chilly night, the air thick with tension, a magnificent storm descended upon Ventania. Thunder resonated like a war cry, and a brilliant bolt of lightning illuminated a forgotten relic hidden deep in the woods. This relic was thought to be a long-lost herald of truths unknown. The children, feeling an inexplicable pull toward its location, rushed into the darkness, hands clasped tightly and hearts pounding in synchronicity. With barely a breath, they stumbled upon an ancient gateway, adorned with carvings old as time, reflected in the moonlight. It seemed like a portal to a realm beyond comprehension. At that moment, Serafina reappeared, her presence radiating a powerful sense of urgency. "This is the heart of the prophecy," she exclaimed, beckoning them forward. "Unlock the enigma, for only then can you illuminate the path for your people." As Amelia stood before the gateway, she felt a strange sense of clarity wash over her. "What lies beyond?" she voiced softly, her question hanging in the air. Serafina's gaze met hers, filled with compassion and determination, replicating the struggles and brilliance understood through the eons. "It holds the answers to your people's fears and could very well hold the key to transforming darkness into light." In that teetering moment of fate, as the winds screamed around them and thunder clapped ominously, the children reached toward the gateway, grasping the stories of the past, present, and future entwined in their fingertips. The atmosphere hummed with electric anticipation, pulsing with the unease and excitement of unfolding mysteries. The figure trembled, whispering ancient incantations of longing and courage. Heartbeats synchronized as light radiated from the gateway, casting golden beams through the storm-dark night. Just as Amelia and her cousins unlocked the hidden power contained within, the earth shifted beneath their feet, showering them with a myriad of possibilities. In the aftermath of that pivotal moment, the children emerged into an uncharted territory, standing at the crossroads of destiny, a world brimming with choices. Would they find the strength to rally their community and dispel the shadows threatening to engulf them? Or would they succumb to the trepidation dominating their hearts, letting fear dictate their fate? The prophecy had begun, and only time would reveal the true scope of Serafina's revelations. As the echoes of the storm faded, a new dawn broke over Ventania, filled with uncertainty yet glimmering with hope. The choices ahead lay in the hands of Amelia, Matteo, and Isabella, and with hearts united, they were ready to confront whatever lay beyond the impending darkness. In the quiet town of Eldermount, nestled between misty hills and ancient forests, there lived a young girl named Alara. With striking green eyes that mirrored the vibrant foliage surrounding her home, she belonged to a family of humble farmers. The village, rich in folklore and steeped in tradition, was a tapestry of stories about the mystical entities that were said to roam the woods at dusk. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting shadows that danced like spirits, whispers about the old shrine dedicated to the weeping willow echoed through the narrow streets. Alara was an ordinary girl with an extraordinary heart. She was known for wandering off into the woods, losing herself in the beauty of nature. Her days were filled with tending to her family's crops and serving as a beacon of kindness, always offering her help to anyone in need. The village was lulled into a simple rhythm, but tales of darkness lingered. The elders often spoke of the malevolent force that could ensnare the unwary, should they stray too far into the forest, fueled by fury and neglect. On a chilling night in September, Alara experienced an ominous vision. A shadowy figure appeared before her, a haunting silhouette looming like a storm cloud. This figure revealed the consequences of the village's neglect toward the weeping willow, an ancient tree believed to embody the spirits of their forebears. As the figure spoke, Alara felt a deep chill. It foretold of misery and despair, should the villagers continue their indifference to the stories and traditions that had been passed down through generations. On a fateful day, the community was jolted when a sudden drought swept through Eldermount, parching the earth and threatening their crops. Factions began to form within the village, each blaming the other for the misfortune that had befallen them, stirring resentment and distrust. Against this backdrop of tension, Alara ventured to the shrine, guided by a whispering intuition that urged her to seek the truth. It was at the ancient roots of the weeping willow that she first encountered the ethereal being known as Lyriel, a spirit bound to the tree. Lyriel, radiant yet somber, implored Alara to embrace her role as the bridge between the two worlds, the tangible and the mystical. "There are souls lost in despair, tethered to this realm by their sins of neglect," Lyriel said, her voice a melodious echo that seemed to harmonize with the rustling leaves. She revealed a prophecy. If the villagers did not reclaim their reverence for their heritage, a darkness would descend upon Eldermount from the depths of the forest. On a dim evening, as a celestial alignment unfolded, Alara stood amidst a collective of villagers gathered at the shrine. Lyriel instructed her to call forth the spirits, to spark a reconnection with the past. As she raised her voice, a myriad of lights fluttered through the air, glimmering like fireflies, soon coalescing into the shapes of the ancestors. They imparted wisdom and stories of resilience, urging the villagers to unite and rekindle their faith in each other and the unseen forces that guided their lives. In the weeks that followed, the villagers took heed of the spirit's call. They came together, mending rifts and sharing tales of sorrow and joy, strengthening the bonds that had been frayed. As they honored their traditions and cared for the land, the drought began to recede, and the earth offered its bounty once more. During the festival celebrating the flourishing crops, a remarkable event transpired. As Alara stood beneath the magnanimous weeping willow, the tree shimmered with an otherworldly glow. The villagers, enamored by the beauty before them, fell silent, united in a moment of awe. Alara felt Lyriel's presence beside her, a gentle reminder of the delicate balance between reverence and neglect. Yet in the shadows lingered an unsettling truth. A forewarning from Lyriel remained etched in Alara's mind. She knew that the cycle of forgetfulness could easily return if the villagers' newfound harmony faltered in the face of complacency. "Embrace your past," Lyriel had said. "Only then can you safeguard your future." Years rolled by, and while Eldermount blossomed into a beacon of community and love, Alara grew into a woman driven by her mission to preserve the tales of their ancestors. She became the guardian of stories, recounting them during long winter nights by the fire, ensuring the lessons embedded within those tales would not fade away. She also nurtured the bonds forged between the villagers, advocating for unity during challenging times. But the shadows were never far away. Rumors began to swirl of a dark force awakening in the forest once more, sparked by greed and the neglect of the surroundings. Despite the strength of their community, Alara sensed the tension rising anew. As the whispers grew, so did her resolve. With her unwavering spirit, she summoned the villagers to gather once more at the Weeping Willow. That night, beneath a tapestry of stars, Alara stood resolute before them, her heart brimming with the fervor inherited from her ancestors. "We have been granted a second chance," she proclaimed, her voice resonating through the still air. "But it is not enough to celebrate our unity once a year. We must carry forth the lessons learned into every day. Only together can we withstand the darkness that threatens our peace." With her eloquence echoing in their hearts, the villagers once again embraced their stories, their laughter mingling with the winds, and faith once more kindled in the shadows. Alara knew this chapter was only the beginning. The path they walked together would illuminate the forest and safeguard the future of Eldermount, a future woven with the threads of the past, rich in love, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to remember. And thus, the legacy of Alara as a keeper of stories was born. The whispers of the Weeping Willow grew stronger with every tale told, urging the villagers never to forget the balance they must maintain. A crucial dance between light and darkness, a reminder that even in the most serene moments, vigilance is the guardian of peace. The harmony they cultivated resonated through the ages, a promise that as long as their hearts were aligned, the shadows would never claim their home. In the heart of a bustling metropolis draped in the shadows of towering skyscrapers, a young woman named Isolde felt an unquenchable yearning within her soul. At just 17, drawn by an undeniable force, she made a momentous decision that would alter the course of her life forever. Leaving her quaint hometown of Eldridge, nestled near a tranquil river, she ventured forth to embrace a life of service amidst the daunting complexities of urban life, seeking a purpose she believed was intricately woven into the fabric of her being. The farewell to her family was laden with unspeakable emotion. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she exchanged heartfelt embraces with her younger brother, Felix, and bid a tender goodbye to her aging grandmother, Lydia, whose wise eyes reflected a deep understanding of Isolde's quest. This was no ordinary departure. It was a profound commitment to a calling that had been echoing in her heart since childhood. What lay ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, but the flicker of hope burned bright within her as she set her sights on the horizon, ready to tread the uncharted path laid before her. Isolde found sanctuary within the walls of the Serenity Sisters, a religious organization devoted to aiding the forgotten ones of society. Unbeknownst to her, this initial step would lead her to yet another pivotal chapter in her journey. As she embraced her new life, she adopted the name Celine, inspired by the luminous moon that had guided countless wanderers through the night. In the tranquil halls of the convent located in Ireland, the zephyrs of devotion mingled with whispers of prayer, creating an ethereal ambience filled with promises of a brighter tomorrow. Yet, little did Celine realize, her transformation into a beacon of light for those in need was merely beginning. The gentle sisterhood cultivated an environment rich in compassion, yet shadows lingered in the distance, foreshadowing her true calling awaited her beyond the convent's gates. Each sunrise brought with it a renewed sense of purpose, as she immersed herself in the lives of those who sought solace in the circle of faith. However, it wasn't until an unassuming journey to the vibrant city of Varenthia that her spirit ignited with a fervor that could not be contained. Traveling on a crowded train, the kaleidoscope of cultures colored every moment as Celine's heart surged with anticipation. In Varenthia, a city where prosperity danced hand in hand with despair, she felt an undeniable tug, an irresistible pull toward the impoverished neighborhoods that concealed the depths of human suffering. As she gazed out at the bustling streets, the cries of the unseen reached her ears, pulling at the very essence of her being. She stood poised at the threshold of an awakening, destined to transform not just her own life, but that of countless others. Upon her arrival, Celine was tasked with teaching at a local school, serving children whose laughter masked the burdens of their existence. Yet, with each encounter, she witnessed the harsh reality of life that far surpassed her prior understanding. Boys and girls, vibrant spirits trapped within a relentless cycle of hopelessness, moved her to tears. The neglected, the sick, and the forgotten appeared as specters in the corners of her periphery, haunting her thoughts as the echoes of their plight penetrated the walls of her heart. As weeks melted into months, what started as a mission of education gradually evolved into a long-suffering crusade for compassion. A pivotal moment transpired one fateful evening when Celine wandered into the streets after a long day, feeling an inexplicable urgency rising within her. What she saw was beyond her comprehension, a panorama of anguished lives, each a testament to the struggle of survival in a world that had forgotten them. Amidst the teeming masses, she encountered individuals seemingly resigned to their fate. Families huddled beneath tattered blankets, children scavenging for scraps, and the elderly abandoned without care. Their vacant eyes reflected every pain and sorrow, awakening a righteous anger within Celine. It was at that moment she felt the stirrings of a profound mission, one that demanded her complete surrender to the plight of the suffering. In the early dawn of 1952, on a train bound for a retreat in the distant hills, a transformative realization enveloped her. Deep within her spirit, she perceived a calling, urging her to abandon the comforts of convent life and immerse herself in the heart of Varenthia's struggles. It was a voice she could not ignore, one that urged her to live amongst the suffering, a direct conduit of love and empathy, stripped of any protective layers. Upon returning to the convent, Celine approached her sisters with a heartfelt plea to release her from the confines of her former life. The uncertainty of her decision weighed heavily upon her, yet she embraced the conviction that would serve as the bedrock of her mission. With their blessings, she donned a simple attire, a flowing dress of white adorned with azure patterns, symbolizing both her commitment to humility and her deep reverence for those she sought to serve. Thus began Celine's journey through the labyrinth of Varenthia's hidden corners, where poverty reigned supreme. Each step she took resonated with the careful journey of self-discovery. No longer just a teacher, she became a vessel of compassion, engaged in the silent burdens carried by those who often faded into the backdrop of society. Her existence transformed into a testament to resilience and faith, igniting the spark of hope in the hearts of the downtrodden. Each day, Celine navigated through the trials facing the city's lost souls. She provided food and shelter, wiping the tears of children, and offering solace to the elderly who felt unseen and unworthy. No longer encumbered by the boundaries of her former life, she embraced the chaos surrounding her, recognizing in every face the beauty of humanity. Here, amidst the rubble of despair, she found purpose, a purpose that tethered her to a mission much greater than herself. The connection she forged with the community became a symbiotic relationship. They nourished one another's spirits amidst the ruins of sorrow. As her presence grew in the city, whispers of her unyielding resolve drifted through the streets like a gentle breeze. The once lonely path she tread became a road embraced by those who wished to join her, individuals stirred by the call for a compassionate world. By 1956, barely 4 years after she stepped beyond the convent's embrace, Celine had coalesced a group of like-minded souls, a celebration of humanity united in purpose. Together, they established the Guardians of Grace, a movement dedicated to uplifting the fallen while simultaneously beckoning the world to acknowledge the plight of the unacknowledged. The mission of the Guardians transcended mere charity. It was a reminder that dignity belonged to all, no matter the circumstances of their existence. What began as a singular desire to help turned into a powerful wave of change, reverberating far beyond the boundaries of Varenthia. Despite the obstacles faced, the movement expanded, infusing hope into corners deemed unreachable. With each compassionate act, the message began to crystallize, a profound declaration that compassion must be woven into the very fabric of our lives. While many praised her for her selflessness, Celine remained steadfast in her belief that her cause was a manifestation of something far more significant than herself. Shadows cast by societal neglect were illuminated by the glow of human potential, and it was her mission to remind the world of the intrinsic value of every soul, regardless of their past misfortunes. The Guardians of Grace blossomed into a global entity, their message echoing through realms of influence, challenging existing paradigms and urging societies to unite in a shared commitment to humanity. Celine's quiet yet powerful determination showcased how individual actions could incite monumental changes. The true gift of grace was to see ourselves in one another, to understand the interconnectedness of all lives. It was within this unyielding spirit that Celine transformed into a formidable force for justice, her heart ever pulsing with the cries of the forgotten. And in this symphony of compassion, a beacon of hope emerged, one that would shine brightly through the darkest of times, reminding the world that in the heart of every challenge lies the opportunity for rebirth and renewal. The journey was arduous, but with each courageous act, Celine wove threads of hope into a tapestry that extended far beyond her own life, a testament to the power of love in the face of adversity. In this tangled world, she became the voice for those relegated to the periphery, an emblem of grace shining brightly for all to see. Her unwavering light guided humanity toward a more compassionate existence, whispering to the world that it could indeed be better, if only we dare to embrace each other fully, casting aside the chains of indifference. In a realm where shadows danced along cracked walls and hope flickered like a candle in the wind, a solitary figure named Lila emerged. She was not the conventional hero. Instead, she bore the weight of a past filled with rejection and solitude. Lila hailed from the desolate outskirts of Solaria, a city overshadowed by poverty and despair. Here, the air was thick with the pungent smell of neglect, and the streets echoed with the haunting cries of those left behind by society. Lila navigated through the narrow alleys of Solaria with a grace born from years of hardship. She often stumbled upon the forgotten souls who drifted through life like specters. Among them were the fevered and frail, the abandoned children whose laughter had long been silenced, and the elderly who languished in corners, their eyes clouded with lost dreams. No government aid nor philanthropic organization dared venture into these grim corners, leaving Lila and her companions, a group of women known as the Guardians of Solaria, to shoulder the burden. With unyielding resolve, Lila and her sisters embraced their cause. They provided care, nourishment, and companionship to those whom society had deemed unworthy. Their mission was clear: to cultivate compassion in the hearts of the untouched. Word of their work began to spread like wildfire, igniting a spark of hope in the hearts of strangers scattered across the globe. Inspired by their tenacity, men and women left their comfortable lives to join the Guardians, swelling their ranks and amplifying the love that emanated from their mission. However, what had begun as a simple act of charity soon transformed into a profound movement. As onlookers witnessed the Guardians' tireless dedication, the narrative of Lila's work morphed into a universal symbol of resilience, blooming in adversity. This burgeoning recognition brought with it an unprecedented sense of awareness. For many, the image of Lila among the sick and abandoned served as a poignant reminder of what it truly meant to embody compassion. By forging her path through the chaos, Lila established an unbreakable covenant, a vow to uplift the most marginalized individuals within Solaria. She sought, in her own spiritual quest, to quench the insatiable thirst for love that permeated her surroundings. This vow resonated deeply within the hearts of her congregants, sowing seeds of hope that would soon flourish beyond the confines of their city. Nonetheless, interwoven with every act of kindness was a potent message, a clarion call that Lila desperately hoped the world would heed. Stepping forward from the shadows of indifference, she began to voice the urgent warnings echoing in her heart. She spoke fervently about the perils of apathy and the corrosive nature of greed that had infiltrated society's core. Lila's presence on the streets of Solaria took on an entirely new dimension. It was no longer merely about providing aid, but rather a clarion call to the world to awaken from its slumber. Through her words, Lila sought to inspire action, to motivate others to confront their own complacency. Her message radiated beyond the city limits, reaching those who, in their privilege, had forgotten the struggles of those less fortunate. With every passing day, more individuals opened their eyes to the quiet suffering woven into the fabric of their communities and the vital importance of empathy. The streets of Solaria, once cloaked in despair, began to shimmer with the possibility of transformation. Neighbor aided neighbor. Families adopted the forgotten, and the guardians of Solaria became a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards change. Lila had forged not merely a network of charitable work, but a movement steeped in the principles of solidarity and love. As various threads of humanity entwined and resonated with her call, the mission blossomed into a tapestry of collective effort, spanning across the hearts and minds of those willing to listen and respond. Lila's urgency resonated in the whispers of the wind, compelling everyone to partake in crafting a brighter future, where compassion overtook indifference and kindness triumphed over apathy. In a world that had all too often chosen the path of isolation, Lila emerged as a relentless advocate, reminding all who would listen that vulnerability could forge extraordinary connections. As Solaria began to transform under the weight of empathy and commitment, Lila's vision of a world united by love and compassion surged forward, fueled by a collective spirit that would not be extinguished. And thus, her legacy took root, a testament to the power of resilience in the face of despair and a vivid reminder that every heart, no matter how broken, could be a vessel for hope.